Baruch Hashem, the first shir that we're having in the Besmerish Nachlas David, that Hashem should have a kiyum. Diburei Emunah, Daf Kuf Ches. The koyach, לא תשאיר בטוח, זה טוב האור. רעש. Let's do this. The koyach of the tzaddik, is doubled, mamash, when the tzaddik is mistalik. He says, we found by Eliyahu Hanavi and Elisha, that Eliyahu said to Elisha before he passed away, before he was taken away, they will ask something from him. So Elisha said, Yehi na pishnayim meruchacha elai. Let there be twice as much of the spirit that is within you should be within me. This is in Sefer Malachim. In other words, as much as you have, I want double. And double zetzich God says, you have to think about this. How is it possible he asks somebody more than he has? How can it be? And nowadays, you want twice as much. And besides, what did he want in that? What is the question of that he wants double that? And what did Eliyahu ask them? So what did Eliyahu answer him? He said, if you'll be zocheh to see me, when I'm solid, when I've been taken away, then you're zocheh to twice as much. Because this entire dusiyach, this entire dialogue, is Omer Del Sheni. It's what's going on here. And Rabbeinu explains like this in the Kutam Maran Toyes Hanachman. You should know that it is possible that the Talmud should be greater than the Rav. In fact, you did twice as much as the Rav. And still, it'll all be the Koyach Rabbi and the Koyach of his Rav. Because it is said that Tzaddik has two ruches, has two spirits. Ruach del Eila, Ruach del Tata, the Ruach that is, you are here and there. People don't realize that, people tend to think that people are physical. And there is some spiritual aspects to them. But the truth of the matter is, it's exactly the opposite. People and the entire reality is completely spiritual. Completely spiritual. Even the scientists say the world is an idea that has a physical aspect to it. Nicht the other way around. The world is totally spiritual. So there is a ruach lemala, and there's a ruach lemata with a little bit of the ruach is lemata in the body. How much the body can take? The body can take a little bit of a ruach. The main ruach is lemal bichlal. It's a klal, you should know. In all Kisva Arizal bichlal. The malchus is the very, very bottom, it's very, very least, and this is Yodos Mavis, this is in the Raglim is in the body. The Nefesh is in the body, but the Neshama is only the Raglim of the Neshama is in the body. So the only the very, very bottom, the lower Madregas. And he says this, Ruach del Eila, Ruach del Tata, as it says in Toldos Noach, Noach le'Eila, Noach del Tata, that's what the Zohar Kodesh says, there's Noach above, there's Noach below. And when a tzaddik is in this world, he only has the ruach below. Because the ruach above, the supernal ruach, is so high, so exalted, there's no way it can exist in this world. Only when the time of histalkos, then the ruach dil eila, the ruach from above, comes down and is glued kaviyachol to the ruach below. And this is called neshik, and this is called a kissing. And then the ruach below is mistalik. We explained once before that the whole inyan of istalkos is all the time a bechina of toisef ruach hamikvaya. When there's more ruach, this is what death is. It's not the other way around. People think that the ruach means that the ruach goes away. Ultimate result is that the ruach goes away. But the way it is done is that the ruach from above comes down, and the ruach from below is like when you're taking a candle and you put it next to a big flame. What happens? The little flame jumps to the big flame, and it's mistabik to it. And this is how the stalkus happen. So you find that in the time of Istalkus, the Talmud can be mekabel from his Rav more than he can be mekabel in B'chayil. Because in the time when his Rebbe was alive, all he had was the lower Ruach. In other words, the Lakus that is clothed, that is cloaked in the Gashmas, the Kabbalah here down. But in the time of Istalkus, it's the Ruach del Eila that comes down. That's the way it was with Rashbi. That's the way it was by Halim Rebbe. And that in the time of the Istalkus, it was an unbelievable Is'alus. Because this is when the Ruach del Eila comes down. That which did not happen until now. That's why a Talmud that is Zoiche to be then, in the time of the Istalkus, he can get the Ruach Lakus that comes down in a much greater measure. The koyach of Rabbeinu, that Rabbeinu promised, Nitzachti v'anatzeach, I have won and I will win. So his great koyach and his great inyan, what we call them Rebbe Zach, he wasn't just during his lifetime. But the Rebbe Zach exists also now. And Reb Nosson was massive that he attained that more than all the other Talmidim. And he revealed it to all the generations. And he revealed without stop that the inyan of Rabbeinu is nitzchis. It's eternity. And his inyan never ever stops. It's true that Rabbeinu, he passed away like over 170 years ago. This is when the Sikha was. Tonight is almost 200 years. But we have him the way that we used to have him when he was alive. This is what we call Bresel. We call Bresel the Chassidim. In other words, that the Rebbe is our Rebbe. Rabbeinu is our Rebbe. We have the Rebbe that Reb Nosson had, that Reb Avram Nachman's had, that Reb Shmuel Shapira had, Reb Shmuel Horowitz had, that Reb Yitzchak had, that Reb Getzi had, that the Chorina Rov had, that the Reb of Breslev had, Reb Shmuel Isaac had. We have the same Rebbe, the same Rebbe they had. Rabbeinu speaks to us the way he spoke to them, and he requires from us the way he required from them. So let's take a look. What were the Rebbe's Talmidim? They were Chatzos people. The people who got Chatzos, there was Beidus people. There were people who put their entire koyach in the tefillah. And because of that, they became Kedoshim, they became Tahirim, they became pure, they became unbelievable tzaddikim. They became unbelievable tzaddikim. Where did they get it? How come they reached all these madrigas? The answer is because they took the Rebbe's inyan seriously. With such an emes that they reached what they reached. And they purified themselves until they became total good, a complete good, without any mixture of chelak. This is what the Rebbe wants from us. From us who are sitting here with us. To be continued.